Hello and welcome to this special Christmas edition of the Blether with me, William.
And me, Gary. William, we're supposed to have, this was going to be a Christmas party, and there's only us.
But you sent out the invitations, didn't you?
No, you were going to do it. You said,
no.
When you finished the Blether with Luke and Ian, you said, well, I'll send out the invitations.
I don't think I did. Did I?
You did?
I thought you were doing that.
No, you did, because you said, Linda will help me.
Well, this is very awkward then, because we've got half an hour to fill and there's just the two of us.
Well,
That's
really
going to be very
awkward,
cheery.
isn't it?
It's going to be very cheery for everybody, isn't it?
Well, isn't it just? At least we've got holly and lights and stuff.
Well, we've got holly and lights and things. And so, are you looking forward to a happy Christmas, Gary?
Well, it was, till this slightly disappointing Blether.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that?
Doorbell. Is there somebody wanting to come in and see us? It must go out that we were having a party. Who's first at the party as ever but Raph Augery from Lyon?
That's me. Well, I got no invitation, but I thought I would invite myself tonight. Is that okay?
Right.
Well, I have to say that I'm delighted that you're here, because otherwise it was just going to be me and William.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, it's absolutely great that you're here, Raph. That's terrific. From Lyon. And how is everybody in Lyon? All right?
Yeah, everybody's tired. We've just had a great weekend dancing, so I think they're all in bed. But I'm awake, so I thought I might just pop in.
Yeah, that's great to see. That's superb. And I mean, the international bit of the society is so important. And you guys in Lyon do a wonderful job, of course. Lots of young people. Your membership just keeps going up, and it's fantastic. Yeah. How do you do it, Raph?
I take them young. Yeah, that's what I do.
Okay.
No, I'm a primary school teacher, so my pupils, they like to hang on with me.
That helps, doesn't it?
For a while afterwards. Yeah. So some of them are now 18 and they're still there. Hey, they can't
Fantastic.
Can't move away.
Fantastic.
Wait, so what kind of things do you do with them, Raph, when you get them in that young?
Well, I've got this kids class first, and then when they get to high school, they get into the more advanced teenage class, and I just take them around the world. We do little weekends here and there, and they just like being together. Then they're a group of friends, and they like being together, and they just happen to do Scottish country dancing. But
I think I'm right thinking that you're bringing a plane load to summer school next summer. Is that right?
Yeah, 40, I think.
Wow.
About 40 of Lyon branch people are coming. Be aware. Week 2, hide.
That's going to be great. But you're also travelled internationally, teaching, and all over the place. You and I were in Australia this year, and
We were, yeah.
What does that mean to you? What is it about Scott? I'm going to ask folks what it's about. What is it about Scottish dancing and Scottish music that people want to do it? French people want to do it, for example.
I think what we like most is the social part, really. Everybody's so friendly, and that's why I kept dancing, because people were so friendly at summer school when I started, and we just like hanging together. And it happens that the dancing is great, the music's wonderful, and we can. We're never bored, because there's always some people creating new things, and it's great. And we keep meeting new people, but we're small enough to know so many people around the world. It's not like Zumba or salsa where so many people do it that you don't know anybody. Us, we just go to San Francisco and, hey, have the crowd there. It's great, right?
That's absolutely brilliant. Brilliant, yeah. Oh, hey, that's the bell. I can't believe this.
Is that somebody else coming in?
Raph, have you just WhatsApped somebody to? My goodness, it's David Oswald.
Who invited him?
Hello, Raph. Did you WhatsApp him?
That wasn't me. No, I don't know this guy.
Well, I thought a party might as well have a musician.
Well, do you know any?
No, that's where I came on.
We've got you instead, have we, David?
Absolutely, Gary.
Oh,
Absolutely.
David Oswald, great to see you.
Yeah.
So, is this festive? Obviously, you were called Batman and Robin. So, which one's now Robin and which one's Batman with the roles reversal?
Well, it could well be. It could well be. It could be
Oh, it
something.
could be Santa and an elf.
You
Well,
speak
Santa
for yourself.
now.
With the Santa hat off.
I'm surprised William's not got the Grinch suit on now.
Well, thanks very much. What about your shirt then? Is that a festive shirt, or have you just been painting the house again? Or
Paint the house again. It's got kind of snowflakes on it because I thought, well, you know, I'm small and delicate and dainty.
of course.
Oh, I've got snowflakes as well. Hey.
There you go, Ralph.
Lovely.
Oh, everybody's got snowflakes.
Okay.
David, we were just talking to Raf there about Lyon, and they're bringing 40 folks over next year to summer school, and you well travelled internationally, and you know, for the Royal Scottish Country Dance Society, our friends overseas are just so much part of it, aren't they? You've been all over the place. What is it like as a musician to travel and play for dancers all over the world?
Oh, as a musician, I've been fortunate enough. A couple of times I've been over with Marian Anderson's band to Australia, and I'm going over with my own band in 2025, and played many places in Europe. Not played Canada and America yet, so that's on the wish list. But when you go out there, they're just the fact that you're willing to travel, and it's great when you get out there because everyone's just so friendly. A bit like summer school, you don't know anybody perhaps on the first day, but by the first night, you certainly know everyone. It's great.
It really just brings folk together, doesn't it? And we've got this kind of hobby that is the common thing between us all. But you can go anywhere in the world, pick up your pumps or your accordion, go anywhere and find a class or a dance anywhere.
Well, that's it. Absolutely. Yeah, and the good thing is, as somebody said recently, you know, you could be playing the Royal Scots in Stirling, or you could be playing the Royal Scots over in Australia or America, and it's exactly the same.
And you know, that's the thing about the Royal Scottish Country Dance Society, because without the society, that wouldn't happen. You know, even in Scotland in the old days, dances were danced slightly differently up in Aberdeen from down here. But the society managed to, you know, come into some criticism in certain ways too for standardizing stuff. But without that standardization, Raf, I suppose, you know, you guys couldn't come to summer school if you didn't know the dances were going to be the same on the Younger Hall on a Thursday night as they are in Lyon. Yeah.
It makes things a lot easier for international people that everything is standardized and we've got the manual and we can check.
Yeah.
Some people do.
Yeah, don't mention that.
Have you read your copy yet, William?
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm pre-manual.
You're pre-manual.
I'm pre-manual. Yeah. There are one or two old stagers like me. I'm thinking like your colleague Antoine and so on. We are pre-manual lads, and I take great pride in that. So I can call things what I like.
There's more hieroglyphics when.
I just thought it was struggling for him to read there, Gary. That's why he's not read the manual.
Let's move on from the manual to travel. Yes. But I mean, what is it? So, for example, you know, our friends in Buenos Aires there. Now, I'm not sure. It may have been an expat that started it, but as far as I'm aware, all the folks in Buenos Aires are Argentinians. But there's something about, David, there's something about Scottish music and Scottish dancing and this. Come on, get on the floor. We don't care who you are. You feel that when you go abroad? Is that what you get?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, as you say, generally somewhere along the line, there's a descendants. So even if they're not Scottish, there's probably Scottish ancestry descendants along the line that they've maybe heard about or seen and looked into it. So the music certainly grabs them, pulls them in, and so I think sometimes distantly they always come back to their roots.
Yeah, but I think also like so. What is going on here? There's something funny going on.
This is odd.
This is odd because we didn't invite anybody. It's
hello,
Linda Henderson.
Hello, I heard there was a party
Oh,
on. It took
don't.
me a wee while to get here, but I'm here from this far west coast now. So how are
Yes.
you all?
We are great.
You know this. It is not a surprise that you've joined the party, Linda.
No.
Because
Really?
if anybody's going to join,
I like my cups of tea, at the parties. So thank you for inviting me.
From a village just outside San Francisco, is that right?
That's right. It's a village called Walnut Creek in the East Bay of San Francisco. And I didn't get the snowflake memo because it's 18 Celsius here just now. So I decided not to put the snowflakes on.
Linda, we're lucky if we get 18 Celsius in the summer.
But Linda, we're talking to all our members right around the world here, coming up to Christmas and New Year. And we've got Raf, and of course, these guys. And you're all well-travelled, you three, all over the world. And I'm going to ask you the same, Linda. What is it about Scottish music, Scottish dancing, and where are some of your favourite places that you've been to teach at? Apart from Boone in North Carolina with me, where else have you?
Boone was fabulous, and I know Gary's been there too. I've been privileged to teach in many places around the world. Australia a few years ago was fantastic. I've taught in Germany several times, including Spring Fringe there. That was great. Switzerland, throughout Canada, and throughout the United States, including Hawaii. Now, that's a fun one. Honolulu, the Hawaii branch has a workshop every February, and that's a good one to visit. So I very much enjoyed that. But I also enjoy teaching at our local Asilomar branch workshop, and I call quite a few ceilidhs here in California and beyond. So I've taught quite a few ceilidh dances in wineries on the beach, in the Rocky Mountains in Canada. So that's all good fun. Why does it appeal to people here? The music, the camaraderie, the fitness, but especially in California, folk are very keen to research their ancestry and have a connection to home, to Scotland. It's that tradition and that sense of identity and belonging is very popular here. So I think that's one of the main appeals of the dancing.
Mm-hmm. I mean, dancing in a winery sounds terrible.
Well, I mean, it's amazing. You get used to it. You just try it once or twice and you will get used to it. I think you'd managed quite fine, Gary, actually, in the winery. But Burns nights, I've done quite a few Burns suppers in the tap room and the barrel room. And there's a drain up the middle, though. You have to be careful of those. But yeah, a wee bit different. But I enjoy teaching at home in Scotland, too. That's one of my favourite places.
Well, I was going to say, Linda, although you're in San Francisco and you've been there for a while, that's not an American accent.
Oh, thank goodness. Oh, no, I just
apologies to all
our
American members. Yes. She loves you, really. She really does love being in America, don't you, Linda?
It's I just live here. Home's always Scotland, right? But the music is very much a catch for people here, and that again, the sense of belonging, and as you mentioned before, the sense that you can play Real or Royal Scots wherever, and you just know that tune. It doesn't matter where you're dancing; that you just know that's the dance, and it's part of being a big family. The international global appeal, and that's just so much fun. Part of what we do, and for me, it's great fun to continue doing what I grew up doing. I grew up in a musical household, and my mum danced, my dad played the accordion, and I danced as a child. So to be able to continue the cultures and the heritage is so much fun, and I get a great pleasure in doing that and sharing that.
Raf, I don't know about you, but I find wherever I go, it's kind of just like being at home. I remember landing in Adelaide this summer to go to a ceilidh and being handed a pot of soup out of the boot of a car to carry into the hall. And I stopped halfway across the street and thought, this could be anywhere in Scotland. Nothing changes. I'm at the other end of the world. And here I am carrying a pot of soup into a hall for a dance. And for me, that just kind of says it all, Ralph. Do you know what I mean?
I do. But I do think as well that every country has their own little things that makes it really interesting to go there as well. Like their own traditions or way to do things, and it's always interesting to see that. And what Linda was saying about ancestry does not uh, happen in France, or I don't think it happens either in Buenos Aires. It's more like the former British colonies that have that. We have hardly anybody Scottish in the group. I mean, we have like one, um, but Scotland is really appealing to people. It's got a great yeah, it's mysterious and it's like people like Scotland for some reason. I mean, I love it. It's cold, it's wet, but it's got great people, and I think people are warm in Scotland. Like they're very friendly, and when I say that I do Scottish country dancing, it's like, oh, I love Scotland. Everybody, I mean, it wouldn't be the same for England, for instance. So I don't know. Scotland has this great shiny things about it, and that appeals to people. So it helps recruiting just because it's Scottish.
David, we've been very lucky to go to Munich at the Munich weekend together, and now I don't know
We have.
if we could actually tell any of the stories from that weekend.
Well,
We're lucky. Bill Lyon was one. It was the piano player that
he was,
and sadly missed. Very sadly missed Bill. It was great fun that weekend as well. As I say, we probably can't tell many stories from that weekend, but any particular stories from your travels that spring to mind?
I think we can tell the one story, Gary, of the Munich weekend, that it started off with Matthias and Ramona Rank, wasn't it, that they invited you over as the teacher, and then Bill was the piano player.
That's
and then
right.
Matthias met me at summer school and said, would you come over and play accordion with Bill? And I said, delighted. So it started off as a two-piece band. And then he heard Gillian Stevenson on fiddle and my band on the Thursday night. So next thing, Gillian got the invite. And then he said, could we take second box? So Ali McLeod ended up. And then he said, we might as well have a drummer. So it was supposed to be Andrew Barry. And then unfortunately, Andrew had to call off. And I said to my young son, Stuart, who was taught by Max Ketchum, when's your last exam? He said, oh, Wednesday. I says, that's good because you're flying to Munich on Thursday to do the gig with us. But I think the funniest story was we all decided to go out for a walk, didn't we, around Munich?
Oh, yeah.
So we eventually got taken into the famous beer house in Munich. And we got shown round it, and then it was a quick tour, and we were to be out the door again. And a certain dance teacher was with us. He went, hey, Oz, this is like taking a kid into a sweetie shop and telling them that they're not allowed any sweeties. I said, I know. I said, you'll need to have a word with the tour guide. He says, that's what I'll do. So he duly went up to the tour guide and said, excuse me, I would like to continue with the tour, but the whole of the band wants to stay here and have a beer.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that teacher's no longer part of the RSCDS. That's all I can say.
No, he's now head of the organisation.
Oh, well, yeah, it's quite frightening. It's quite frightening, really.
It's frightening for the rest of the organisation, isn't it?
So that is quite good about the band's travelling. When you go travelling, I mean, we're obviously professional and very well behaved, but it's quite nice that you don't have to jump in the car and drive home from the gig after it, as we normally are doing. Mm-hmm. It's quite nice to finish the dance and actually be able to socialise with the dancers and the organisers after it, which I think is all part of doing these weekends. It's not just about going out, being the band, do the dance. I think it's getting to know the people, and again, it's the family of being within the Royal Scottish Country Dance Society. I mean, 90% of my work is now RSCDS, and I wouldn't change it. It's great. It's just so friendly doing it.
Excellent. Good. Linda, teaching folks who doesn't have English as their first language, I'm thinking about Japan, for example. That can be a challenge, although the dancing language they kind of understand, because everybody knows what a poussette is, and it's French anyway. I better say that. But you know, it's that. Have you experienced that where you've got a whole class of people and nobody speaks a word of English?
Not the entire class, but certainly many of them. You just demonstrate. My turn, your turn. And I am privileged to have been invited to teach in Japan at the International Branch Weekend in 2026. Okay. So very much looking forward to that. But no, you just do and show, and then it's their turn. So that's easy. As a child, learning the dancing, it was more a case of you were shown what to do and you just copied it. So that's just what we do. Not a problem.
Yeah. And Japan, they're very good at that, I have to say. So I was there myself, and it was a great experience. And as you say, it's very tiring because you are demonstrating all the time. But my goodness, you get through the material quickly because they are very, very good, our Japanese friends, at picking up the dancing. And you will have a great time there, I've no doubt. No doubt. What about you, Gary? What have you been up to? I mean, are you any funny stories, or have you just been chased out of places and stuff like that?
Pretty much, yes. Yeah. I was just going to say that in the northeast of Scotland, we've got classes full of people that don't speak English out as well.
Right.
So we're quite used to it here, having to translate into English. But Raf, you must find that as well, because English not being your first language and having to, I mean, your English is very, very good, better than William's. But that must be when you're teaching classes, you know, something extra that you have to think about that, you know, the rest of us on the call here don't.
Yeah, my English goes down with the day, really, and then I just speak with noises, like oomph, go, stuff like this.
Yeah.
Presumably that's why you and William were both asked to do Australia at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Because it didn't
Exactly.
matter. Yeah, oomph and stuff like that is universally understood.
Exactly. Yeah.
What, Raf? So, I mean, do you find yourself jumping in and out of French when you're teaching Scottish country dancing to the class?
You mean in France here?
In France, yeah.
I just teach in French.
Ah, right. Okay.
Yeah, everybody's French, so.
Oh, stupid me! Of course.
That's what we do here.
Interestingly enough, though, was it, William, when we were in Paris at the 40th anniversary of the Paris branch weekend, and my family were there as well, my wife and two girls, and William was teaching my youngest daughter how to do skip change, and you did it in French.
I did.
And actually, she picked it up really, really quickly by doing it in French, because it was something different to kind of concentrate on.
Gauche, à droite. Is that right, Raf?
That's perfect. Yeah. That's why in French we learn more quickly, because it's in French.
Yeah, of course.
It works better in French. You should try.
Thanks.
William will need to do it in French back here then and see how he gets on.
I think you should.
À droite. It's
Perfect.
great. Skip change to a T. Yeah, absolutely. So, David, we didn't explain where you were. You're in Kippen, aren't you?
Kippen, yeah.
So where's that then for our friends overseas? Can you kind of roughly explain where it is?
Kippen is a small village to the west of Stirling, which is obviously Stirling, right in the middle of Scotland. We've got the better castle that we always say.
And that's actually your house, isn't it?
Not
Come
quite.
on. It's...
No, I'm in the gatehouse. But yeah, and we have about 1,000 people stay in the village. And we sit about the same height as Stirling Castle, above sea level. So our small village has a motto, and it's out of the world and into Kippen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's where I am. Beautiful part of Scotland.
So what about the future then internationally for the dancing? I mean, it goes without saying that in Scotland here, I think I could shove my head above the parapet and say we have an ageing population within the Scottish country dancing fraternity. And I don't know what that's like in San Francisco, Linda, and America in general. How are things looking? Let's put it that way.
Well, always encouraging the youth members and have some very active classes in our San Francisco branch in that regard, trying to take it out to student population to appeal to all ages. We try to recruit at the Pleasanton Highland Games, which is a huge Highland Games Labour Day weekend, September here, just to rebuild the society branch and the dancing over here. It takes hard work, though, to do that.
And there's I was going to say, there's a link with Linda mentioning Pleasanton, because Pleasanton's actually twinned with my hometown of Blairgowrie here in Scotland. So,
who have got some very keen Scottish country dancers as well.
Yeah.
Linda, you mentioned Ceilidh dancing earlier on. I know you're a keen Ceilidh dancer and Ceilidh caller.
Yes.
Do you use it much to try and encourage folk to join?
I do, absolutely. And quite often welcome parties, starter parties. I start with Ceilidh dances and such like. And if I may be asked to call at a private event, which is purely Ceilidh, whether it's a birthday party, a wedding or something like that, then I try and encourage folk there to move into country dancing too. And I find that's often a good way to get folk introduced to the dance form and to the music. And it's great fun too, isn't it?
It certainly is. Yeah, absolutely.
Rav, do you find you have to do that? I mean, do you use Ceilidh dancing much, and or is it just purely Scottish?
No, saying that, I've just called the Ceilidh on Friday and it was really good. But often when we used to do Ceilidhs, and then people would come to the class and would do it's not the same. That's not what what we did at the Ceilidh. The Ceilidh, they just come for fun and they have hard shoes, and it's the dances are easier. There's no pointy toes, and in the class it's different. So not all of them, but some of them were not keen on Scottish country dancing, and it appeals to other people who like more difficult stuff, like more precise things.
But there's definitely a crossover there to be had, isn't there? I mean, there's definitely a, as I often say, the Society published a couple of what they might call Ceilidh dances in the first few books. So it's a pity we pigeonhole them, I often think.
I think especially in Scotland, William, folk at school will certainly nowadays would get Ceilidh dancing, but we would class as Ceilidh dancing in the lead up to Christmas and the social dancing for Christmas parties and things like that. And I think folk remember that with quite a lot of fondness after they've left school. They might not think about that at the time when the sleeves go over the hands, so they don't have to touch the girls next to them and things like that. And then they turn about 17 or 18, the hands are out and they want to touch them. But it's using that to help remind people about how much fun they had, and it goes hand in hand with the music as well, as you said, Linda. So I suppose, David, coming back to William's question about the future internationally, what about the future for music internationally as well?
I think internationally the music's in good shape. I mean, what's nice to see is obviously some of the branches have their own bands now. You've got the Paris branch have their own band, Matthias and Silke out in Germany, so they're now playing as well. Not so good for us Scottish musicians because, I think we should do musician swaps, and that Matthias and Silke comes over to Scotland in the middle of winter, and I think we should actually find the musicians out in Australia, and we'll go out there in the sunnier climes to do their ones. Sound good, boys?
Yeah, we mustn't forget actually that the teachers and the musicians out, from Scotland, fifth of Scotland, if you like, all over the world, who are doing a fabulous job. We've all met them in Japan and Australia and New Zealand. Just folks doing a fantastic job And if I can appeal to them as well, we have all this social media now, at Coates Crescent, they're always looking for news from your area, from your place. Lindsay, our marketing officer, will be delighted to hear from you with pictures and videos. So please, don't think you're working in a wee vacuum and you're millions of miles away from Scotland, because you're very much part of the Royal Scottish Country Dance Society, and we want to share all what you're doing as well as what's happening here in Scotland. It's a great thing.
Absolutely, and I think Dancing Around the World showed that as well, where we had dancing starting in New Zealand and over 24 hours, seeing all the videos coming in right through to Hawaii over the course of that 24 hours was just a fantastic example of how this hobby of ours has just gone global. And I quite often say it's one of Scotland's least known but best exports.
Yeah, absolutely.
Folk in Scotland don't know how much of an international reach Scottish country dancing has, and it's just wonderful. It really is.
What about the music in Scotland, David? How are bands coming along, following in your footsteps as you start to look towards retirement? I don't know why I said that.
I'm quite happy being out on a Friday and Saturday night. We've recently had as I say, a few weekends ago, we were in Switzerland and Basel playing, and then the following weekend, so it was Gillian Stevenson and myself that was out playing Basel weekend with cancelled planes and such like, but all part of the adventure. And then you get back home and we're back to playing 2 Scottish country dances the following weekend, which is great. I mean, it's funny, a lot of the younger bands, unfortunately, they say, I don't want to do Scottish country dancing. No, I don't want to do Scottish country dancing. Oh, that's too sedate. But it's interesting. I think the music's changed within the Scottish country dance community. I think dancers don't just want a straight set anymore. If you like the traditional Scottish dance band, it's still there and it's great to hear. But I think, the music's moved forward. Dancers like a bit of syncopation. They like breaks in it. They might not know what we particularly do, but you can see it in the dancers when the band is doing something a bit different. It's interesting, some of the younger bands are now sort of coming through and thinking, actually, there is work out there, so they're now wanting to get into the Scottish country dancing. But they're also now finding it's not quite as easy as just turning up and playing. It's learning the trade as well. So, we've all been there as a young musician where you've gone and done Nottingham Lace and it's 96 bars and you think, I'll just play 332s. And then you get the dancers saying, no, it's 24 bar sequences. So
okay.
That's what you've got to do your homework for the Scottish country dancing.
Well, I'll explain that to you sometime, Gary.
Thank you. I can't pass.
You're very, very welcome. But Linda, I think that's one of our big strengths as well, as a tradition, in inverted commas, that it's a living tradition, that we're still composing dances, still composing tunes, still. I don't know about you, but I think that's a massive strength. It's not just stuck in a period, and we don't just bring out the dancers for the tourists. It's still very much alive, and you can dress down as much as you want. You can wear your training shoes. You can do what you like. And I think that's why we will survive. There's a cue for a song if I've ever heard it. But anyway, Linda, what do you think?
Well, both the music and the dancing, a living, evolving tradition. Know where you came from so you can respect those traditions and then go forward and keep it exciting and vibrant and great fun, appealing to everyone. Yep.
Absolutely.
Would you agree with that, Rob?
I do. There are lots of really, really good composer of dances and music right now. And I really enjoy new dances. And some people come up with great ideas that I would never have. So, and then teaching them is great. So, yeah, it's part of the fun.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, we're coming up to Christmas. It's nearly Christmas. So, wonder, is it anybody got any exciting plans over the Christmas period? What are you all up to?
Raf?
I'm just staying in Lyon with my family, but we have a Christmas ceilidh at our dance class, and we'll have it's more like a summer school ceilidh, with talents. Right. So we get all sorts. It's really good fun.
Well, you won't be inviting us then if it's talent.
No, exactly. No.
David, any exciting over Christmas, New Year?
Just a quiet family Christmas at home, I think, this year. I quite enjoy the break time. It's also when the company that I work for, we're shut down for 2 weeks holiday. So it's the one time a year that you do get a bit of peace and quiet, unless the Williamsons suddenly turn up at your door, But
well, we're always looking for a bit of Christmas cake and a bun fight somewhere. I love the term "the company he works for." Notice that. Yes. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm coming back to the castle bit again, and never mind. No, let's not even go there.
No.
Linda,
everyone has a boss, William.
How is Caroline?
Yeah, we know who your boss is as well, and she's probably sitting in the next room as we speak.
She is, yes.
There you go. Linda, what about you?
Early Christmas with family here, because I'm getting on a plane very soon to fly home, and I'll be in North Berwick with Mum and Dad for Christmas and New Year. I'm looking forward.
Your parents are amazing, aren't they? They really are an amazing.
Yes. They used to travel over here, but it's too hard for them now. And my kids are grown, so it's my turn to travel home. So I enjoy that.
Oh, great. Well, we'll look forward to having you here anyway. But listen, guys, thanks very much for the. Oh, it's not. It can't be.
Well, it's Christmas. It's
Christmas. Well, we can't be seen up and about. We need to go to sleep. Because if he's going to come and visit. But guys, thanks very much for joining us. Just a bit of fun, and it's that international. Our society is so special, isn't it? And as Gary said, it's the best export Scotland's have had, and we need to get out there and shout about it. And our musicians and teachers and everybody and all our dancers all over the world, from Japan to Lyon to Buenos Aires to South Island, New Zealand, Americas, everywhere. It's just one big family, and I'm sure we would want to wish them all, Gary, a very happy Christmas, wouldn't we?
Absolutely, yeah. And I think the wee party we've had tonight has shown just that international reach and the international friendship that the RSCDS just exudes. So thank you very much to the three of you for coming along to our wee party. And a huge Merry Christmas to everybody that's watching, and a Happy New Year, happy dancing in 2025.
2025.
It's 2025. Yeah. So whatever you're doing for Christmas and for New Year, wishing you all the very best.
Yep.
All peace, health, and happiness, and we'll see you next year.
Yeah. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
All the best.